Time now for our rants and raves, starting with Dan.
I have a rave for the Berkshire Eagle in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts.
Pittsfield. I used to live there.
Oh, okay. A once fine newspaper that has shrunk to nothing as a result of 20 years of corporate ownership. A local group is buying the Eagle and three sister papers in southern Vermont, headed by Judge Frederick Rutberg. They're going to be hiring 25 to 30 people immediately because a lot of the production and advertising jobs have been outsourced to some other part of the country. They're going to be coming home, and they're also talking about expanding their journalistic mission and doing more hiring in the years ahead. It sounds ambitious. A lot of these papers can do pretty well if they don't have debt and they're not shipping their revenue to some corporate headquarters out of state. So
in the 70s and 80s, that was one of the best newspapers in the country.
Terrific paper. Pulitzer winner. I wish them well. I think they're going to do well.
Yeah.
Very excellent.
All right. What we got? Kelly.
I am happy to say that now the prestigious journalism fellowship programs, the Nieman Foundation here at Harvard, the Knight Michigan, and also the Stanford are all headed by women. And this just happened because...
Is that a rave?
Yes, that is a rave. To the left is Anne Marie Lipinski. She's been in her role as curator of the Nieman since 2011. Lynette Clemenson from NPR just got named to Knight, Michigan. She'll start July 1st. And Dawn Garcia, who was deputy director at Stanford, is now going to start her new role as director September the 1st. I can't say how big this is. This is huge, as some others would say, and that with the journalists that come through these programs are the ones that are thought leaders and take positions of leadership in the newsrooms and have been really sort of holding the torch for journalism. And so now we have 3 women in charge of these programs, and I say bravo.
All right, Tom.
I have a rave. We're all, gosh, in such great moods today. This is good. And about some kind of unusual journalism. It's the National Geographic. This is the May issue of National Geographic. And in an unusual move, they have devoted the entire issue to one subject, and it's they call it the Battle for the West, about Yellowstone National Park.
Wow.
Yellowstone National Park was created in 1872 by Ulysses S. Grant, the first public park in the world to maintain wilderness. And this is also the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service now. So National Geographic is, I think, appropriately putting a lot of focus on it. But I just wanted to commend them for the quality of the journalism here. This is all written by one writer, a science writer named David Quammen, one of the best writers, I think, in journalism today. It's a spectacular, this could be a book, and again, I think it's just worth mentioning. Now National Geographic is going to do this on their channel, on their cable channel, starting May 8th, and so they have a series about this. I think it's first-rate journalism.
Does the magazine still do well?
Magazine does very well, but what they have started doing is they now have a series out. Again, it's playing off the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service, so they have 100 trips you can take around the world, or 100 new developments in the parks to see. They're putting out different magazines that focus on these themes, and but it's quality journalism. I think that's important.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, Josh.
I've got a rave too, continuing our good mood. You know, when we think about where the big important decisions about where we get our news are made, you might think of the New York Times newsroom, you might think of CNN in Atlanta, but really the most important place where those decisions are made is a building in Menlo Park, California, where Facebook is headquartered. Because Facebook, in controlling the algorithms that decide what shows up in your news feed, really helps decide where people get their news. So my rave is for Facebook this week announcing a tweak to that algorithm, where for the first time they're going to start taking into account how long people spend reading the stories that they find in Facebook. You find a story, you tap on it, you go right back. That will hurt it in terms of other people seeing it. If you spend an hour engulfed in this wonderful story, that will help it.
Are they Facebook news stories or news stories with those little
these are the news stories by every publisher, the New York Times,
Right.
the Washington Post, WGBH. So basically it's a system in which for the first time they're going to be rewarding this sort of engagement with the news story. So that means that if journalists do their job and create high quality content that people really want to connect with, then there'll be a nice positive return cycle on that. So good for Facebook.
All right, rounding out the
I hope you
Whatever,
have a
five.
rant
I
on
actually
that.
have a rave too. And this is kind of odd though, but my rave is for Prince. And it's, in many ways, he was on the leading edge of, protection of copyright and free speech. And, he was really, really protective of the music industry. He's really one of the reasons why you can't just download stuff for free. His tactics sometimes were a little heavy-handed, and he could be a little tough about it.
Suing his fans.
Suing his fans,
Yeah.
and he took his name out of the lexicon. He's the artist formerly known as Prince, so he couldn't use his name. But right now, even if you click on his music, the first thing that comes up is the paid product. So he's made a difference, and we'll miss him anyway. All right, so that is it for our show. Tell us what you think. Email us, tweet us, or leave a comment. We're always on at beatthepress.org.